John's love for basketball began at the Pittsburgh Project, Urban Impact, Allegheny Elementary School, Allegheny Middle School, and Alderdice High School.
You are now in the Black Box. Whoa. With Spider Loke, Most Easty, aka BJ Keyway, and the Google Gang. Let's go!
Listen.
Cheetah. Gratitude is the attitude. Show is a blessing. To be back in the Black Box. Black Box.
Relax, roll up as we randomly react to content in these YouTube streets. Yeah. It's time for R&R.
Smack with that hustle. Big shout out to my SPR, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the Black Box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
The constant, consistent, continuous content creation campaign continues. Yeah, we on them 7 C's. Jeter, gratitude is the attitude. Very serious title right here, man. Y'all seen it. Man shoots entire family at their son's funeral. It's coming from the channel Wednesday Crime. With no further ado, let's see what this father at the funeral has been up to. Death at a funeral.
John's love for basketball began at the Pittsburgh Project, Urban Impact, Allegheny Elementary School, Allegheny Middle School, and Alderdice High School.
We need to make sure that this never happens again. And we will be working around the clock to do whatever's necessary to apprehend those that did this heinous thing today.
In the late hours of October 15th, 2022, a 20-year-old man was shot dead at a gas station. At around 3 p.m., Pittsburgh police responded to reports of multiple drive-by shootings at the Sunoco gas station on Cedar Avenue. When they arrived at the scene, they found the bodies of 3 individuals dead, lying on the side of the road. Upon closer inspection, they had all suffered from multiple gunshot wounds. Just 13 days later, on the day of the funeral service of one of the victims, a masked man would invade the service and open fire on the mourners with the intent to kill. What was supposed to be a quiet goodbye soon turned into something out of a nightmare. But the worst was still to come. What unfolded next escalated into something even darker. This is the life and death of John James Hornazis.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Yeah! Yeah! Let's go! Let's go! Yeah! Yeah! Where my pops at? Where my pops at? Yeah! Yeah! Hey, tell him, Jit! Tell him, Jit! Yeah!
Born in 2002 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 20-year-old John James Hornazis Jr. was a young man still writing the early chapters of his life. A life filled with potential, quiet strength, and a heart full of love. Those who knew him best described him as someone with a big heart. The kind of person who would offer his last dollar, defend a friend without hesitation, or flash a smile to lighten even the darkest moment. He had a deep passion for basketball, a game that gave him focus, discipline, and a sense of belonging. Whether he was shooting hoops at a local park or cheering on his favorite NBA team, the sport was more than just a hobby. It was his outlet, his therapy, and a connection to simpler joys in a world that was often anything but simple.
What I tell? All right, I'm out there.
Like many young men his age, John was still finding his way, navigating the uncertainty of adulthood, shouldering responsibility, and trying to stay grounded in an environment that could be unpredictable and unforgiving. But even through personal trials, he carried himself with a sense of resilience. He dreamed of stability, of building a life that offered peace not just for himself. To his family and friends, John was a brother, a son, a friend, and a young man with dreams and ambitions. Behind the quiet demeanor was someone who loved deeply, laughed loudly, and lived with purpose, even when life didn't make it easy. But one day, everything changed. On October 15th, 2022, what started as an ordinary day for John would soon unfold into something far more tragic. That day, John had gotten ready just like any other. He had plans, simple ones, the kind young men make without thinking twice. He'd arranged to meet up with two of his close friends. The trio later gathered at the Sunoco gas station on Cedar Avenue. They weren't doing anything out of the ordinary, just waiting for a bus, maybe deciding where to go next. But as they stood there, with no reason to feel unsafe, what happened next was something no one could have predicted. In a matter of minutes, the quiet stillness at the bus stop was shattered. As John and his friends stood on the sidewalk, an SUV slowly passed by, an otherwise unremarkable moment that turned deadly in an instant. Without warning, gunfire erupted. Surveillance footage later revealed a chilling scene. John and his two companions suddenly raised their weapons and opened fire on the moving vehicle. The SUV was riddled with bullets as the trio unleashed a barrage of gunshots, seemingly without hesitation. But what they hadn't counted on was what happened next. The occupants of the SUV were armed as well, and they didn't hesitate to defend themselves. In a flash, gunfire was returned, transforming the street into a chaotic crossfire. Bullets flew in both directions as nearby witnesses scrambled for safety, ducking behind gas pumps and car doors. What began as a one-sided ambush had become a full-blown shootout. Surveillance footage not only captured the violent shootout between John and the SUV's occupants, but also something even more heartbreaking. Two innocent women who had simply been waiting for the bus nearby and had nothing to do with the altercation collapsed to the ground, struck by the bullet.
Now that's that bullshit right there. Oh my mama, bless their heart, bless their soul. That's fucked up.
Bullets never meant for them. During the shootout, the 20-year-old John Hornezes Jr. was fatally struck by a return bullet from the SUV. One of his companions was also hit by a bullet to his leg, but later found to have survived. Within moments of the gunfire, multiple 911 calls flooded dispatch. When officers arrived, they were met with the devastating sight of multiple injured individuals. First responders worked quickly, administering CPR and attempting to stabilize their conditions before rushing them to the nearest hospital. But the injuries were too severe. Despite the efforts of trauma teams, both women, Betty Jean Averett, Jacqueline Mahalik, and John, were pronounced dead shortly after arrival. As investigators began piecing together the tragic puzzle, it became clear this wasn't a random act of violence. According to police, a dispute was going on, one that erupted into deadly gunfire between individuals at the bus stop and those in the passing SUV. A few days after the incident, police arrested 19-year-old Charon Troutman, one of the men believed to be inside the SUV, and he was charged with homicide in the death of 20-year-old John James Hornezes Jr. Meanwhile, 21-year-old Charles Hines, who was also injured in the leg during the shootout, who authorities say was standing alongside John and also opened fire, was charged with homicide in the deaths of Betty Jean Averett and Jacqueline Mahalik, the two innocent bystanders, but is now facing 2 murder charges.
19-year-old Sharon Troutman, who police call a gang member, and 21-year-old Jaylon Hines, investigators say were firing their guns across Cedar Avenue in a shootout, along with John Hornez Jr., who was killed. Police say he was found feet from a playground with a handgun by his side. Jacqueline Mahalik and Betty Everett were waiting at a bus stop innocently when they were killed in the crossfire.
My mother lived in the high rise on the north side. She wasn't just standing at the bus stop. That was a place that she lived for 5 years. She was a resident in the area of the north side. So I'm heartbroken and my soul is empty.
But as the dust from the investigation barely began to settle, what came next stunned everyone, because the ripple effect of this tragedy wouldn't come until the day of John Hornezes' funeral. When word of John Hornezes' death reached his family, it shattered them. They had an unbearable mix of sorrow, confusion, and disbelief. To them, John wasn't just the young man caught in a deadly shootout. He was a son, a brother, and a loved one who had dreams, flaws, and a future he was still trying to shape. Despite the pain, his family came together to give him the farewell they believed he deserved. Plans were made, flowers were chosen, obituaries were printed, and on the day of the funeral, people gathered, some to mourn, others simply to show respect. But what was supposed to be a quiet goodbye would soon turn into something out of a nightmare, because even in death, John would not be granted peace. On the 28th of October 2022, John's funeral was held at the Destiny of Faith Church located at the 3700 block of Brighton Road in Pittsburgh's neighborhood. A large crowd gathered, over 100 people filling the sanctuary with a heavy silence, some praying, others crying. But just as the ceremony began to find its rhythm, chaos erupted.
Shots ring out, sending folks scrambling outside Destiny of Faith Church.
At around 11:03 a.m.,
I remember that little clip right there when it went viral on social media. On my mama, when that lady outside seemingly got hit and everybody saying she held the boy down. Yeah.
An hour and 20 minutes into the service, what had been a deeply emotional but peaceful gathering turned into a scene of absolute terror. Surveillance footage from outside Destiny of Faith Church showed mourners entering and exiting the building, some stepping out for air, others mingling quietly by the entrance. But within seconds, gunfire shattered the silence. In the video, attendees were seen scrambling in every direction, and the confusion and fear were immediate. One woman collapsed to the ground, clearly hit, but still trying to get to safety. But the video shows something more disturbing.
That's what you see on surveillance video from that day last October, as a family was saying their last goodbyes to a loved one.
Just a few feet away, a man can be seen with a firearm firing directly into the crowd of running individuals with an obvious intent to kill. Mourners screamed, some diving behind vehicles, others desperately trying to get back inside the church. The shooter appeared to be targeting individuals at random, showing no concern for who might get caught in the crossfire. It was a full-blown ambush, right outside a house of worship, while a grieving family tried to say goodbye. While the screams of terrified runners echoed from outside, inside the church, chaos erupted just as violently.
The events caught on camera during the funeral, played in a courtroom Friday afternoon.
Allegheny Middle School and Alderdice High School.
The mourners, many already weeping from the emotional weight of the service, now found themselves trapped in a nightmare. Panic swept through the sanctuary. Some dove beneath pews and tables, using anything they could find as a shield. Others hit the floor, clutching their loved ones as bullets continued to ring out just beyond the doors. Some attempted to crawl toward exits at the back of the church, while others huddled in corners, whispering prayers, hoping the shooting would stop. Witnesses inside the church reported hearing more than a dozen gunshots. It was a moment of paralyzing horror, not just for the family of John Hornezes Jr., but for an entire community that had come to mourn, not to survive.
This is senseless, that you would come into or come around the church and shoot up.
I just think these young boys are just don't care about anybody's life, not even their own.
Another chilling piece of surveillance footage surfaced during the investigation. In the clip, two males dressed in all black and wearing balaclavas were seen walking across the street from the church building, just moments before the chaos would erupt.
Prosecutors say teens Hezekiah Nixon and Sean Davis are first seen dressed in all black outside a restaurant across the street from the church. For about 20 to 30 minutes, the two people appear to survey the area. And at one point, you see one holding a handgun and another hiding something under their clothes. Eventually, they cross the street and open fire.
The two figures moved around, slowly surveying the area. One of them clearly held a handgun in plain sight. The other appeared to be hiding something beneath his jacket, possibly another firearm. Their movements seemed deliberate, almost as if they were waiting for just the right moment to strike. Just a minute later, the same footage captured the terrifying escalation. Without warning, the two masked men opened fire on the crowd gathered outside the church. The ambush was no random act. It appeared premeditated and timed to inflict maximum emotional and physical damage. Within minutes of the shots being fired outside the church, multiple 911 calls flooded dispatch centers. The Pittsburgh Police Department quickly responded, arriving at the scene to what could only be described as utter chaos. 5 individuals had been hit by the gunfire. First responders rushed in, tending to the wounded with urgency and care. The injured were transported to nearby hospitals, and all 5 victims survived their injuries. But the emotional toll of the shooting would linger long after the physical wounds healed. However, the most shocking revelation was yet to come. As officers began to piece together what had happened, surveillance footage from the church and nearby streets proved invaluable. Cameras captured a black car seen just before and after the shooting. Investigators quickly zeroed in on the vehicle, believing it to be the getaway car used by the shooters. Later that day, police discovered the black vehicle abandoned near Brighton Heights, not far from the crime scene. Detectives used surveillance footage from multiple nearby streets to track the suspect's movements, block by block, until they were finally led to a residential area in McKees Rocks. That's where police found 19-year-old Sean Davis and 16-year-old Hezekiah Nixon, both now suspects in the funeral shooting. At the time of their arrest, the two were attempting to escape, stuck in traffic on the McKees Rocks Bridge, unable to make a clean getaway. When law enforcement approached the car, both suspects exited the vehicle. One of them dropped a handgun to the ground as officers closed in. The other tried to hide the evidence, tossing the weapon into the river below. An act of desperation that would not save him from accountability. Both Sean Davis and Hezekiah Nixon were taken into custody on the spot. They now face multiple.
Hezekiah, he got a biblical name. And he out there behaving badly. Boy. But they lucky nobody died and they so young, because as tragic as that all looks and sounds, they not finna be down that long. Less than 10, I would imagine. I could be wrong.
Serious charges including attempted homicide, aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, and firearms violations. As detectives dug deep.
Well, on second thought, when they come with them attempts, and depending on the jurisdiction and how hard they want to go, sometimes attempts could carry the same penalty as the actual murder. On my mama, so I don't know. But they are young.
Deeper into the tragic shooting at the funeral, they discovered something even more troubling. John's family had seen it coming. In the days leading up to the service, his loved ones expressed genuine fear. There were whispers, unease, and mounting tension, enough that the family formally requested police presence at the funeral. They feared that emotions tied to John's violent death might erupt again.
So are the family members more keen to know what the police should be doing since they didn't come and protect, or did the police believe the same thing and didn't give a fuck? Which is it? Are the family sharp? Is the family sharper, smarter about police work than the police? Or did the police know they should be there and just did not come? Because you know damn well, had it been police presence, that 16 and 19-year-old wasn't finna walk up on no policing bus. On my mama.
Time during his burial. According to reports, the request had been acknowledged. Officers had allegedly been assigned to attend the service and provide security. But when the funeral began, the unexpected happened. On October 28, 2022, not a single officer showed up.
Wow. Yeah, they knew that was gonna happen. They wanted that to happen. Y'all got a lawsuit. The family got a lawsuit. On my mama.
Law enforcement sources later revealed that the two officers assigned to John's funeral had mistakenly gone to the wrong location, a nearby funeral home. Finding no activity there, they had simply left. In the aftermath, Pittsburgh Police Department's Major Crimes Commander, Richard Ford, admitted the failure, telling CBS News, "We look at each situation differently. If there's a request and it falls through the cracks, that's something that has to be immediately looked at."
Him saying all that just sealed the deal. I know they got a bag for real. On my mama.
Rick Earl joins us live. And Rick, I understand you just learned that the police officers that were requested by the church were not there.
Yeah, that's right, Lisa. Multiple family members here outside the hospital were telling me this afternoon that police officers were supposed to be at that funeral, but they say no one ever showed up. Now, I did speak with a law enforcement source just a short time ago. They confirmed that two Pittsburgh police officers were assigned to that detail. But those officers at the very last minute were pulled for another assignment. After completing that other assignment, those officers planned to return to the funeral, and that's when the shots were fired and the shooting broke out. Again, my source telling me it's not normal procedure for Pittsburgh police officers to attend these funerals, but they suspect there was somebody anticipating possible trouble at that site, and that's why those officers may have been requested in the first place. Again, those officers pulled for another assignment, and then they were going back to the church, and when they were on their way back, the shooting happened.
But to many, that wasn't enough. Beth Pittinger, executive director of the Citizen Police Review Board, voiced what so many others were already thinking. She argued that, given the circumstances of John's death, a public shootout involving multiple gunmen and innocent bystanders, officers should have been present at the funeral, whether a request was made or not. Allegedly, the two officers assigned to provide security that day were suspended, but the details around their suspension remain vague. It is still unclear whether any supervisors are being held responsible or if this critical lapse will lead to lasting changes within the department. To John's grieving family, these unanswered questions only add to their heartache. In the days following the funeral, speculation began to go around. Some suggested that John may have had ties to people or situations that brought danger to his doorstep, but his loved ones vehemently deny those claims. To them, John was more than just the headlines and surveillance footage. He was a young man with a big heart, someone who loved deeply, stayed loyal to his family, and was trying to find peace in a world that often made it hard. What should have been a sacred moment to say goodbye turned into something no one should have prepared for, a second crime scene, where the pain of one violent death spiraled into the trauma of another. And still, despite everything, John's loved ones choose to remember him for who he truly was, a 20-year-old who loved basketball, protected his friends, and tried to navigate life the best way he knew how. The heartbreaking loss of John James Hornezes Jr. serves as a haunting reminder of how quickly disputes can spiral into devastation, and why real change is needed to prevent another life from being stolen before it's time.
Shit was different.
Yeah, shit hit different. We all crossed that bridge though. Yeah. That shit hit different. That shit hit different. It hit different. Yeah. That shit hit different when it's your own. You ever lost somebody close to you and wish that you could call their phone? Talk about y'all memories and play their favorite songs. The fact is, we all crossed that bridge. I know it's wrong. Sipping Remy, smoking blunts, you can't believe they gone. And when you shed tears and reminisce, they tell you stay strong, but it's fucked up. You in that casket and won't wake up. You looking good, ain't even need a lot of makeup. Everybody's showing love and telling you to stay up. Ran out of Remy Martin store run, I'm on my third cup. They telling me to slow down, but I don't give a fuck. Taking so many losses, I feel like I got bad luck. Keep your name alive, they gon' remember you. Dealing with this pain and it's critical. A nigga still missing you. Keep your name alive, they gon' remember you. Dealing with this pain and it's critical. Nah, you don't know how pain feel. Feel like I should be taking pain pills. Send him lower your casket, it gave a nigga hella chills. And it hit different that you gone, this shit don't seem real. Yeah, it hit different that you gone, this shit don't seem real. Nah, you don't know how pain feel. Feel like I should be taking pain pills. Send him lower your casket, it gave a nigga hella chills. And it hit different that you gone, this shit don't seem real. Yeah, it hit different that you gone, this shit don't seem real. Stay strong and keep my head up. And I'ma miss them days I walk by, you tell me, boy, pull your pants up. The whole family missing you. And every time I step foot on 103rd and Avalon, I think of you. You always speak the truth, even if it hurted their feelings. You was nosy, always in somebody's business, working on my last nerve. I can't never win an argument with you. You always gotta have the last word. Shedding tears like a baby, cause your service was beautiful, more like a celebration than a funeral. Never thought I'd get that call that we losing you. Family in a single file line, all viewing you. Keep your name alive, they gon' remember you. Dealing with this pain and it's critical. I'm still missing you. Keep your name alive, they gon' remember you. Dealing with this pain and it's critical. Nah, you don't know how pain feel. Feel like I should be taking pain pills. Seen him lower your casket, it gave a nigga hella chills. And it hit different that you gone, this shit don't seem real. Yeah, it hit different that you gone, this shit don't seem real. Nah, you don't know how pain feel. Feel like I should be taking pain pills. Seen him lower your casket, it gave a nigga hella chills. And it hit different that you gone, this shit don't seem real. Yeah, it hit different that you gone, this shit don't seem real.
Just a little talk with Jesus makes everything alright. Just try it. I can't explain it because God is revealed and not explained. But because of my dad, I know God is real. Love you, Dad.
Neighborhood Net Hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
It's the homie cook-up boss, goddammit, Cub Low. And y'all tuning in to the Wake and Bake Show with goddammit the homeboy Spider Low.
Here with SPI, the realest nigga in LA.
Spider this bitch!
My nigga Spider Low. Spider Low, nigga.
Spider Low.
It's Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
So Spider looks at me because we go back to the juvenile side of the county.
What the fuck?
My nigga.
Spider Low.
Spider Low. Shout out to SPI, that motherfucking nigga.
Spider Low, Wake and Bake. Better keep it Google, nigga.
Loke is in LA somewhere doing what he's doing.
In the words of Spider Loke on my mama's mama.
Spider Loke's gear. This is Bay Mac.
Nate Bud, C-Mac. Shout out my Loke, Spider Loke, huh? Nate Bud, on hood. It's a beautiful world. You fight me? Fight, crib.
Point blank, through no subliminal dissing. When I listen, I can tell you never been on no mission. Sticking to the script, don't care if I offend you. Neighborhood crib, the marathon
I overlook my competition, never seeing them. I done trained my mind that I'm going. You could tell by how I walk, talk, I'm a boss. A Eastside millionaire, homie, what you thought? My life is a movie. They can't get close to me. They mad cause they can't be. I'm everything that they wanna be, yeah.
You are now in the black box. Whoa. With Spider Loke, Most Easty, aka BJ Keyway, and the Google Gang.
Let's go!